Welcome to The Art Confidential, the podcast where we dive into the parts of being a creative that usually stay off Instagram.
We're your hosts, Andreina and Jacqui. We're sitting down with artists, gallery owners, creative insiders, and each other for honest conversations about art, creativity, self-doubt, connection, and the real life that happens in between the making.
This isn't about perfection, and it's definitely not about romanticizing the hustle.
It's about creating a space where curiosity thrives, community matters, and we all grow together. Let's go.
Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. We're calling this a working episode because we're not just talking about an idea. We're actually going to practice it together.
So over the next week, we're inviting ourselves and all of you into a little experiment. We want to see what happens when we become more intentional about building creative community, not networking, not collecting followers, not trying to get something from people, actual community, the kind that makes this creative life feel a little less lonely and a lot more joyful.
Yeah, lately we've been thinking about collaboration and the role that community plays in our creative lives. And after spending time visiting other artist studios recently, we kept coming back to the same thought. Some of the most valuable things artists share aren't techniques or business tips. They're encouragement, perspective, generosity, connection. So today, we're talking about collaboration, but maybe not in the way that you think.
And by the end of the episode, we're going to give you a few small challenges so we can all participate in this experiment together. Welcome, everyone, to the Art Confidential.
Woohoo! Welcome, welcome. I do love our solo episodes, I gotta say. I mean, I love our guests, but I love when it's just you and I.
It's a little less pressure.
Yeah.
We could be our professional selves.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, I think we've been talking about this episode pretty much since we started the podcast. But we didn't really know how to go about it because, just telling people collaborate like that doesn't really make sense. So we came up with this idea, but before we get into, the homework and the assignments and everything, let's talk about why it actually matters. Why does community matter?
Well, I think as artists, we often create alone. We're in our studios, whether you're sharing a building with other people or you're creating in your home, you're still alone in the process. And sometimes you can get too much in your head. You know what I mean? Like you're alone.
Yeah.
There's no one there going, that's great or not so great.
Right. And then when you're going through like the tough parts, because like any job, it has its tough parts, right?
For sure.
Self-doubt or fear or, even when it comes to like, do I frame this piece or do I not frame it? Like little things, right? Just talking to other artists makes you realize that you're not alone. Everybody's kind of struggling with some of the same things. And sometimes even just talking it out helps you come up with, a better solution or a better way to do it, right? So again, it might not be like a business tip, but I can stop at somebody's studio and be like, oh, they also went through this, right? They also had a bunch of work just sitting on the side because it wasn't working, or they also have a messy studio like some of us.
Oh my gosh. I still haven't cleaned mine. I made a promise on episode 1 that I was going to clean my studio. Does intention count?
No.
Okay.
We'll count it.
Okay. I'm one step closer.
So we kept talking about collaboration. You and I always talk about collaboration, but when we started talking more about this episode, it became clear that it's not really collaboration what we meant. It's more like connection.
Yes, for sure. This project is definitely a collaboration, but it's also a connection. And we're trying and hoping that we're connecting other artists, other listeners, whatever creative job you have, that we're all kind of connecting through this. But you and I are doing the collaboration. Our listeners, let's say, they're doing the connection part. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think there is a big difference. And sometimes, you follow somebody that you love, a creative or a business, right? You cannot always go and stop at their studio because they don't have a studio. Like up until recently, I did not have a physical studio that people could go to. It's in my house. But it can be as simple as a word of encouragement via an Instagram, DM, right? Like there is an account, and I'm going to give him a shout out, and I'm probably not going to say this right, but Asheville-ish.
Oh, yes.
On Instagram.
We are going to link that. This guy is amazing. I'm glad we're talking about him.
Mm-hmm. I love him. And I wasn't even planning on talking about him on the episode, but he's what comes to my mind because his posts are about connection. It's about encouragement. It's about, would it kill you to give somebody a like? Right? You do it. It's so funny because a lot of times you see people giving love and likes and sharing stuff from somebody that is so far removed from anywhere in their community. But then they're like ignoring or almost even shading the people that are right next in their communities, right? Instead of cheering them on, because if they win, we all win, right? And he does that so well. His posts are so relatable. I'm always liking and commenting on his stuff. But he also reminds me of doing that for other people. Like, yes, like and comment and encourage. And, it helps. As a business, it helps because we all sadly have to work with the algorithm and all of that just so that our things get seen. But beyond the actual aspect of algorithms and everything, it's just the personal aspect, right? Where somebody's actually giving you a word of encouragement and you're like, oh, they see me, right? And that it makes you feel less alone for sure.
Absolutely, especially when you're on Instagram and you're seeing everybody's red dots, which means sold, or you're seeing everybody's highlight reel. Look, I'm doing this, and then you can't help but say, "Oh my gosh, I haven't sold anything in a while," or they've got it all figured out, and I don't know what I'm doing. So I think community, instead of focusing on all those glossy, shiny parts, it is connecting and say, "Hey, I've been there too." Or maybe I can give you some advice, or it's such a connection. It's so different.
And it can be, again, so little, right? Like, I think, just recently I learned this new tip where you can reorder your grid on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so silly, right? It's not like but it makes a huge difference for how your Instagram looks to people. And I share it pretty much with everybody. I share it on our group chat with all the artists in our building. I share it with some ladies that I collaborate with on other businesses. I share it with other artists. I share it with friends because I'm like, this is great. And it doesn't cost me anything.
And it doesn't take away anything from you. It doesn't subtract your business. You're just helping others like, hey, you get to do this. It's no negative impact on you whatsoever.
Exactly. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. When we say collaboration or community or connection, we're not necessarily saying, hey, go grab somebody and, you have to start a podcast or a business together.
She's going to hold that over me. So on that note, I just want to start my little homework assignment by usually when we record, we just publish our little clips on camera. The rest is just audio. So this is going to have to be a clip because behind me, I always have my own art and I rotate it out just to be interesting. Today, I'm giving a shout out. This is not my own art. This is a local artist. Her name is Casey Moran. I'm going to spell it for you. She has no idea that I'm doing this. I bought this piece when I took a workshop from her, which I took a workshop that was completely, and it was an in-person, out of my comfort zone. I do not do figures at all. Yeah. And it was such a great workshop, and I bought a piece from her. So this hangs up I move it around a lot. It's in different places. So this is an artist, and I would encourage you all to look her up. Her name is Casey Moran Art. That's her handle. And it's KASEYMORAN Art. And I'm not going to ask her like, hey, give us a shout out or show my work or anything. This is just like, here she is.
Right. It's so simple. I mean, not the art. The art is so beautiful.
No,
but it's so simple to just give a little love to somebody else, right? And it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't, but it just makes us all feel more connected. And I think we all miss an opportunity when we think we have to do this alone and I'm in competition with you. Because again, there is so many things that we can learn from each other, even if we're doing exactly the same thing. And that's what people get, that scarcity mentality, right? Well, if they buy from me, or if they buy from her, they're not going to buy from me. Well, I don't think that's ever the case. I think there is enough for everybody, and maybe one thing leads to the other. So it's not hindering you from moving forward. If anything, it's actually going to help you.
Here's an example that I always think of because I'm so food oriented. Okay, like a pizza place in a town. There's not just one pizza restaurant. There's many pizzas, maybe like thin crust. Maybe this guy specializes in stuffed crust or Detroit style pizza or New York style pizza. There's enough to go around. You can go to all those different restaurants. If it's not like there can only be one. There's something for everyone, and everyone's pizza is going to be a little bit different because it's going to have the love and stamp and creativity of that chef or that restaurant. So no one's going to just keep going to that one restaurant all the time. It doesn't take away that they're like, oh, tonight we want deep dish. Let's go over there. But normally we like New York style, so we'll go over there. There's definitely room for everybody.
Yeah. And I'm going to share, this is funny because we did not intend for this episode to become shout out central, but here we are.
Let's do it.
But I also had this sweet story. There is a local artist. Her name is Natalie Ray, and I did not know her at all. We had never met. Her kids do go to the same school as my kids, but we had never met. I didn't even know she was in Nashville, nothing, right? One day she messages me. She's like, I'm hosting, she called it a garden party. And I was like, this sounds fancy. Like, what is a garden party? I was like so intrigued, right? And she's like, I'm inviting artists, musicians, poets, writers, all kinds of people. And we're going to share what we're working on in this garden party. So wear your garden dresses and we're gonna have some light bites. And I was like, wow, what is happening? Like I just thought it was so special, right? And I had no idea what to expect. I'm like, this sounds like Beverly Hills. Because, it just sounded so fancy. Well, I get to her house. It was fancy in the sense that we all looked the part. We all wore our dresses as she asked, right? But it was low-key, casual, the most inviting environment. We literally all sat in her backyard and had champagne, and everybody would take turns and speak about the art. None of these artists are people that I had ever met or run into. They were musicians. They were a poet. All kinds of people. And, a lot of them they don't even sell their work. They just wanted to show somebody what they've been working on. And it's these beautiful, sketches. And it became really emotional when they were there and they were sharing. We ended up talking about family trauma when they were trying to explain a piece, right? Like all kinds of stuff. And I was like, wow. I mean, that's really brave to reach out to a bunch of different people that you thought would want to come to your house. So I'm not saying that you have to be that brave, but shout out to Natalie because thanks to her, I still keep in touch with a lot of the ladies that I met on that garden party. One of them is a jazz singer. I will link her also.
What's her name?
Brownwin. I'm probably not saying that right, but she's amazing. And she's a singer in Nashville. I think now she lives in Greenville, but she was based in Nashville for a long time. And I also met Claudia Guerreiro and Sky Lorraine, who are now a marquee. They were not showing their work publicly in Nashville at that point yet, but after that, they started to. So I met a lot of ladies that I would have never met otherwise. And now I support them like they're my best friends, right? And it's because this one encounter that this one person facilitated in her home, and it just built this little community. We never met again. I think they might have met again. I couldn't make it. They did a little figure drawing class with a ballerina, and I couldn't make it. I was out of town. But I think that's such a sweet example. And again, it's not visiting a studio. It's not only for one type of artist. She really invited people of all ages. I would say some of them were, I love how I said some of us were in their 20s. Some of them were in their 20s, not me. All the way, I'm sure, to 60s, right? So it was really special. And when I was kind of thinking about this episode, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Because again, it is about connection. none of us sold more work or became more successful in our businesses, but all of us left inspired with more connection, finding somebody else that you want to cheer on and support. And it was just really special.
I think it's key that connection and collaboration is not about what can I get from somebody or what can they teach me. I mean, of course, there is that, but I like that that's not really the focus. It's not about what can I get out of this. And I think this isn't just about visual artists either. This could be in any creative profession, whether you're a baker, a chef, a musician, a writer. I mean, I love when like songwriters get together and they do like singer-songwriters in the round. You know, it's not like, oh, if I invite that person over, I'm going to lose a gig. I mean, and it encourages everybody and you get to try out your material. Now I'm thinking of like stand-up comics where they go to the comedy clubs and they do their bits for their peers to see what works. They try it out. I mean, I guess some people can steal some jokes, but they're a community. I mean, there's a community exists in whatever it can exist in whatever profession.
Yeah.
Really.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that's what's really inspiring to me is that connection, that community. It gives you a sense of belonging. And that's what makes Asheville really special to me because now I feel like I'm part of this community. And you and I were talking about this the other day. I was like, well, if I don't have a studio, then I'm not part of the community. And you're like, yes, you are. I'm like, okay, I am. You know, it's just really special to build those connections and not be in a silo working because you're afraid these people are going to take your customers. That's just not how it works. I think there is room for everybody.
Absolutely. Scarcity mindset. And, you know, going back to your point about missing or having community. So I was in the gallery, I was in the River Arts District, and then I was paint mostly from home. I do have a public studio, but when I was only painting from home, and that was it, even though I'm a introvert, I still really missed, it was hard to get out of the house, but once you're out, it's like, oh gosh, this is great.
Yeah.
Once I didn't have artists to see every day or galleries. I really kind of got in this cave that just kept my world just kept getting smaller and smaller. And I was like, I need to be in community. And really, that's what I pay rent for when I think about it.
Right,
I mean, you don't need a studio necessarily to sell your work for people coming in kind of off the streets. You can have galleries, you can sell online. That wasn't the driving factor. It was, I miss my people, not just who can buy my work or what gallery can help me out. I miss my peers.
Yeah.
So now I pay rent. I buy my community.
All right. So here comes the community experiment. Because again, not everybody's as brave as Natalie was to invite us all to her home. And you don't have to be. So we're going to break this up into maybe more manageable actions that you can take. And we created a little worksheet that's going to actually help keep you accountable to try this with us. Because like we said at the beginning, Jacqui and I are actually going to also do this right along with you.
Yes. Before we get to that, I do want to bring up one point. I don't want to come off where we're saying you have to work with people that ask you. You always have to say yes. That's not the point of this. Sometimes collaboration does not feel like a particular instance, I'm saying. If it doesn't feel right, not every collaboration is a yes. Sometimes you really have to listen to your gut and maybe something isn't right for you. Maybe like somebody asked me one time to collaborate on an art journal. I was like, they're delightful, but I don't keep an art journal. It wasn't me. And I felt initially guilty saying, no, I'm not interested. But there is that. You have to kind of listen and go with your gut and think about it. Not every collaboration is a hell yes.
Absolutely.
So be discerning in your own, what feels right.
Yeah. Much like commissions, right? Like be discerning which commissions you say yes to. But yes, that's a great point. Okay, so the community experiment is what we're calling it. And this is where it becomes a working episode because we're going to invite you. We release episodes every other week. So you have 2 weeks to kind of pick what you want to work on. And like we said, there is a little worksheet. So if you're driving, don't feel like you have to be taking notes. If you, either send us a DM or if you're signed up to a newsletter, we'll make sure that you have the worksheet. Anyway, so just think of it as like our little creative community challenge.
So what are some steps? What can we do?
All right. So the first one is what we're calling the artist reach out. And again, you don't have to be as brave as our friend Natalie, but the challenge here is to reach out to one creative person with no agenda. Somebody, and it doesn't have to be, again, a visual artist, any type of creative career, or maybe a business owner. Anybody that you're inspired by, reach out to them. Just tell them something that you actually genuinely and authentically appreciate about their work. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to ask them for anything. You don't have to make a grand gesture. You can just reach out and say, hey, I love how you're doing this. Just like I just said about the Asheville-ish account.
Yeah.
I love how you're doing this.
Yeah. Maybe we might get him on as a guest because I think he's doing some really important work about this exact topic. So we'll put a pin in that. So reach out to somebody with no agenda and say, I like your work. I like what you're doing. Keep going. Or maybe offer them. Oh, maybe that's in another part.
Maybe.
I was going to say, offer them some resources or share.
Well, the second challenge, so again, you don't need to do all of these, right? You can kind of pick. But the second challenge is what we're calling the creative coffee date. And it's funny because, as I mentioned before, I have a job in corporate America. And we actually have, which is really funny because I'm virtual, we have coffee talks. And we set up like meetings, like virtual meetings where there is no agenda, right? We'll get on WebEx and it's just to chat. So it will be like a coffee talk and maybe 5 people join and you just join in with your coffee and talk about whatever. Now, granted, this is work people. So usually I'm like, I'll pass, but I will be way more excited, for a creative coffee date. So invite somebody, maybe go out for coffee or for a walk or for a beer, or whatever rocks your boat.
You just reminded me of something. This was years ago. This very established artist, she literally invited me out. She lives in Chicago. I live here. And she was like, hey, I want to get together and paint with you and talk about supplies.
Ooh.
I was like, but I live here. She said, let's do a Zoom call. I was like, okay. So poured a glass of wine. I was in my studio, no lights. We connected. We worked alongside each other and talked about our favorite supplies. And then she sent me, just out of the blue, a sample pack of all of her favorite papers that she likes to draw. And she labeled each one. I got an envelope, like Bristol paper, watercolor paper, 300 GSM. It was amazing. She did that.
Wow.
Just out of the goodness of her heart. And we had so much fun.
Right. So it goes to show you, it doesn't even have to be a physical.
No.
Like I said, at work, we do it, over WebEx too. So just like you said, it can be over WebEx. It can be whatever is easy for you.
Yes. And another one is the opportunity pass. So this is where you can share a call for artists, pass along some sort of opportunity to somebody that might be considered, a competitor, let's say. Make them not a competitor. Share your opportunity with them.
Yeah. One of the things that I would love to do eventually when I have more time in my life is to go to like a residency somewhere fun, right? So every time I see somebody did it, I want to ask them all the questions, but I'm always like, it's like a little bit of a stalker, like, hey, tell me where you went. I want to go too. Right? But, but if you have something that you have done that is fun, why don't you just share that before, because I think a lot of us would appreciate that, right? Or like I just mentioned, this tip on Instagram, right? Like share that, an open call to submit. I know there is an open call right now for the Asheville Airport for art, right? Because we are in the River Arts District, we do have a Facebook page where a lot of these opportunities get posted. So we are already connected in that sense. But maybe you're not in a district community where that's happening. So maybe you form your own little group and then start passing opportunities to people and start demystifying. Is that how you say it? Demystifying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at me using big words.
I know. I love it.
Demystifying the process, right? Because, I met again, I didn't mean to for this to become a shout out episode, but I met this Venezuelan artist. She's based in Florida and she's so sweet. And now we even have each other WhatsApp. So we'll be kind of talking about things. And sometimes she'll be like, look at what I'm working on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. Where did you print that? Or I'll say, hey, look at this. I started using this printer for this, and that exchange makes her feel less alone, makes me feel less alone. And it's passing opportunities. Her clients and my clients are probably not even the same. It doesn't take anything away from me to share these opportunities with her, or to pass on her information to maybe a gallery that I think she would be a good fit for and I already have a relationship with.
Absolutely. And same goes like on social media. You can repost someone's work just because and not expect anything in return. That's the thing. Like Casey Moran, another shout out. So I'm posting her on a podcast and tag them, of course.
Of course. So what do we hope happens next? I have no idea. What do we hope happens, Jacqui?
Maybe nothing huge. Maybe just one good conversation. Maybe you make a new friend like us. I mean, we met because you reached out to me and asked me some questions. And I wasn't like, look at her work. Oh my God, it's better than mine. Nah.
Oh, stop.
You told me I was nice, and I'm glad I was.
Community, again, is not built over grand gestures.
Right.
One of the things that I love is when people, and I'm not very good at this, but a lot of my friends are, they do a lot of handwritten notes. I actually have a friend. She's amazing. Every time we do a girls trip together, she actually goes to CVS or somewhere and prints out pictures from the trip and then sends them to us after in the snail mail. And it's such a beautiful reminder of the time that we had together. It's tangible. So it's not a grand gesture, but it just connects you in a different, deeper way. And I think that's what we're hoping happens here, is that maybe you just make a new friend so you're less alone. Maybe you're like, I admire this artist or this business and I'm just going to reach out and tell them so.
It's all the little moments that add up. Again, it's not like one big thing. It's small steps, paying it forward, recognizing them, encouraging them, because we've all been, come on, we all have good times and bad times. We struggle. We're human. We have times when we look at our art and go, uh-oh, what am I doing? Maybe a friend could just hold your hand during that and say nothing. Even that, just to feel supported. And it feels so good to be able to support someone else with no agenda.
100%.
Yep.
So that's it. That's what we're talking about here. And we really do hope that you will join us. Try one challenge, try all 3, and let us know what happens. Send us a message. You can tag us. You can tell us in stories.
Yeah.
Whatever is easy.
Because we have a feeling that the best part of this episode is not what happens today. It is going to be what happens afterward. So we're excited to see where this little experiment takes all of us.
And who knows, maybe we're building something bigger than an episode, Jacqui.
I hope
maybe
so.
We're building our own little Art Confidential community.
I think that's the bottom line. Anyway, thanks, you guys. We appreciate you so much for listening. If you know somebody that might enjoy our podcast or this episode, send it along to them and we'll put some links in and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye. If you are loving these behind the scenes confessions, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a rating or a review. It helps the Art Confidential reach more listeners and keeps this creative conversation growing.
Follow us on Instagram at The Art Confidential, where you can send us your questions, comments, or future topic requests. We'd love to hear from you. And you can find us personally at By Andreina and at Jacqui Fell for more of our day-to-day creative lives. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.